Hi, this is Mayor Dennis Donohue, and I'm joined today by Jorge Alejos, who is the community engagement coordinator with Monterey Bay FC. Jorge, good to see you, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for the invite, Mayor Donohue. Really, really appreciate it.
Well, no, and I'm looking forward to our conversation. I certainly enjoyed the pregame. Is it Jorge, George, or Oscar? So we want to make sure you're laying down a marker now. How do you want folks to recognize that? And it sounds like Jorge is your new stage name for soccer.
That's right. That's right. When I was younger, for a large part of my life, I was known as Oscar, and that's kind of the name my father gave me. But as I got older, people started calling me George, Georgie, and now that I'm in, a professional setting, I go by Jorge.
Got it. Well, and speaking of your father, and you talked about growing up here, going to Salinas High, and how you grew up in the Salinas soccer world. Which you learned from your dad. So with your background, and talk a little bit because I think I can understand why you are the community engagement coordinator. But talk a little bit about your background that prepared you for that.
Sure, sure. I'm first generation born here in the United States. My father and my mother both were born in Mexico. And yeah, they arrived here obviously because of all the opportunity in work, right, in the ag industry. My grandpa on my mom's side was a bracero, and my father he came to the United States at a very young age, at 12. And yeah, his mother, my grandma, was already here in the area, and so essentially they landed here. I was born and raised in Salinas, went to all the elementary schools here, John Steinbeck, Hardin, Everett Alvarez. But my father, he started at Salinas High. He started at Salinas High. The soccer program there was essentially just getting started when he arrived. And so him and a couple of his friends, they played all the time. They went to Heart Now. After Heart Now, they obviously they played there as well. After Heart Now, they played in the Salinas Soccer League for many of the teams that we had in the past that were like Man Packing, and Taylor, I believe, had a a soccer team as well, and Necaxa, which is one of the bigger teams in the area. And so I would get a lot of story telling from my father as far as like the soccer culture in the area. And yeah, that seeped into my life. As I mentioned, I grew up playing soccer all through elementary, middle school, high school. I didn't get to play at Heart Now. I wanted to, but my legs just weren't ready for it, to be honest. But it was okay. It was okay because I was playing in the city leagues, and I was playing with you know all the teams in there like Niños Locos and Pa León and Deportivo Salinas, and so really, really just um, a huge part of my life was with a lot of the soccer community.
Well, and I want to talk about the Monterey Club. I'm really a layman, so to speak, when it comes to soccer. I'm kind of that generation: baseball, 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 and then my children, my son started playing soccer, and I was part of the incompetent coaching class that was just being involved with their kids, and I just knew. When it came time for a penalty, I still didn't know the difference between a yellow card and a red card. Things obviously have continued to evolve towards we're a great soccer community, and so you've played, but the fact that we have professional soccer in in the neighborhood is really, I think, a testimony to the following that soccer has in the area. But I don't understand all the leagues, so explain that in terms of what level and how that works.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there's three divisions in American soccer that are considered pro, right? So at the very top you have the MLS. So teams like the San Jose Earthquakes. Have you heard of Messi? Right,
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he's with Inter Miami, and so they are the first division of soccer. we, Monterey Bay FC, we play in the second division. So we're right below MLS. And so a lot of our players are moving up and a lot of the MLS players are moving down. And so that's what makes the second division extremely competitive. And right below us is the third division, which is USL 1. And so in all three of those divisions, they're considered pro. And it does get tricky and confusing because MLS is its own league, USL is its own league, and there's another league that also has a third division level. Anything below third division, you have like semi-pro, USL 2, the Jaguars, right? The Monterey County soccer, the Jaguars there, also semi-pro. You have the men's side and the women's side here, and that team is based out of Salinas. The Salinas Soccer Femenil, the Cosmos, right? They're also considered fourth division, which is semi-professional.
So it's kind of a big deal that that you've located in Monterey. How did you look at the market? I mean, on the surface, is the market too small, or because of kind of the younger demographics and just the popularity of soccer, that's big enough? What do you consider your audience in terms of your attending? Are you looking at the Tri-County area, Central Coast? I mean, it is unusual and fortunately for us that you're in Monterey County. But why Monterey?
Yeah, so we look at this all the time, right? As sales people. So my other title is a ticket sales representative,
Right.
and so we look at this all the time, right? The market size, right? Because in area the county is huge, and let alone the tri-county, right? But in population, really, it's not too big compared to these other areas like San Jose, San Francisco, right? LA, so on and so forth, and so. Essentially, what we try to do and what we look at is the soccer community, right? We lean heavily on the soccer community. We lean heavily on the schools, right, to go ahead and get the fans that we need at the stadium. I mean, I could talk about how the club came to the area, right? Because I know.
Well, I'm curious about that. Yeah. So
yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah, because I know Ray Beshoff, the owner of the soccer team. He had the Fresno Foxes, they were called, and so it was in the same division, second division team, right? And essentially, they were having issues finding a location for a stadium. And so when they couldn't resolve the issue, they decided to go ahead and look for a new location, right? And so Frank Yallop, who was our first coach, had a good relationship with Ray Bashoff. And so he was able to tell him, hey, you should look into this area, right? Monterey County, essentially, for those of you who don't know the history, right? We have like Alisal High School, who has been a powerhouse in soccer in the state of California, right? You have Watsonville High School, who also is huge, and all these other schools near us, right, that are just competitors year in, year out, right, for state championships. And so I think they saw that. I think they see that we're in a prime location, right in the middle of California. We have, South County, who really, really just loves the sport. And if we go out and do outreach to them, then they'll essentially commit to kind of what we got going on. And you see that now with Greenfield School District, right? They have just came out in support year after year, and when I go out to community events out there, they're really so just appreciative of us even going out to South County, right? And to not forget about those areas as well. And so I think the decision to move and to place a soccer team here was just a smart move by Ray Beshoff, right, from his team. And so the market size, yeah, it is small, but what we take pride in essentially having that small town like vibe, right?
Yeah.
An atmosphere.
Well, and as we sit here today, just a couple of days ago, you had a teacher teacher appreciation night. You mentioned education, and how kind of that's a target market. Talk a little bit about teacher appreciation night. What that was all about, and Teacher Appreciation Day is coming up, and it's interesting. When you chat with people. And you say, "Hey, can you tell me the top 5 influences in your life?" Inevitably, a teacher is going to be one of them. I mean, I think you could almost run the table on that, and I'm going to guess you got a sense of that night.
Yeah, yeah. So we just had Teacher Appreciation Night this past Saturday, and we had it last year as well. And the atmosphere, right, around us recognizing the teachers at halftime, it was just filled with energy, and I hadn't heard that much buzz around the stadium, and really it was for the teachers, and so we did that because we know the teachers, right, give so much back to the community, right? They give so much back to the community members, right? You hear all these stories about teachers supplying their classrooms, right, with crayons and books and staplers, and so we know that it's an important part of our community, right? And it's extremely important to us to go ahead and recognize their hard work. And so being able to do that with the platform that Monterey Bay FC has, right, and being able to bring the community together, right, that's really what our mission is to bridge the communities and invite everybody to our game, right, and to bring all the different communities together, including the teachers.
Well, one of the things I'm struck by, I mean, one of the things that I get really excited about is hopefully trying to contribute to the future of the community for your generation and younger, because increasingly this is a community that our young people want to stay here, and that they want to come back to. And what I'm struck by is I often hear, and I want to come back, and I want to give back, and I want to teach. I mean, you hear that over and over again from a pretty bright crowd. I don't know if you've gotten a sense of that, but the way you're describing the energy in the stadium, it sounds like we've figured out it's a good idea to appreciate teachers.
Absolutely, and like, I mean, it goes beyond that, right? For me, it's the soccer team is a professional sports team, right? But really, what we want it to be is a community resource. We want it to be a hub, right, where people can come and learn, the sports industry, right? But in addition to that, there's so much more, right? As far as we're here, right? We're a sports team, but we need to be a community resource. We need to open our doors to everybody, right? We need to be able to bring in interns and volunteers and students who need their community service hours, right? And so building these programs for the community, right, is amazing. And now even I'm in a position where I'm, training these interns, where I'm mentoring some of the interns, and so now even I feel like I have the ability to guide and teach a young professional, right? And yeah, one of the reasons for those programs that we have is to go ahead and identify these local talented community members, right, in hopes that we could then give them a part-time job and then a full-time job, right? And have them be part of what we're trying to build here, for the long run.
Well, the other thing I want to make sure that we discuss is, and along that line, is you all have made a commitment to the development of women's soccer in the area as well. Talk a little bit about that. I think if memory serves, you got a popular local coach to lead the effort. And so, what does that look like, and how does that play out? And what's um, the professional setting that they'll be in? How does all that unfold?
Yeah, yeah. So, really quickly, I want to tell you a story, if I may.
Please.
So, when the team first announced they were going to be here, right? I think they made that announcement in 2021. They were doing, um, essentially, they were inviting community members, right, to come and do like a panel, right, with the community members and speak about the area, right, and speak about the community and to go ahead and help them get ideas for the logo. But one of the questions that they asked at the very end was, if you can ask anything of the owners or the club, what would it be? And my ask was to and I'm not saying this because I think it was but I just asked, hey, we should have a women's team, right? We don't want to be the team that's barely forming a women's team 10 years into our existence. And so 5 years later we got a women's team. And so the coaches, the head coach from CSUMB, she has help as well. And so it's two of them. They partnered with Salinas Soccer Feminine, which are the Cosmos, right? And so a lot of their coaches and staff had a big say, right, as far as like, okay, which players are coming in, right? Who should we bring in, right? But the CSUMB women's head coach and her assistant, they've really done a great job in bringing in players from all over the state. Really, you see some of these signings from like Oregon and Bakersfield and so on and so forth. And so essentially they're bringing all these players in, and it's just amazing. It's amazing to see because we have a lot of talent on both sides, right? On the men's and on the women's, and there's players on the women's side who are playing in international teams, right? For like El Salvador and Mexico, and even some of their in their age brackets, right? Like USA. And so we have a lot of talent on the women's side. And so for it to finally come to life, right? It's amazing. And again, I think it goes back to being able to share the platform and inviting everybody, right, to be a part of this.
Same setup, three different levels for women's professional soccer, or is it different?
So it's different. To be honest, I haven't really done too much research on it. I do know like the top leagues, and I think it's broken down again into two different leagues. So you have the top league, which is something I believe the MLS controls, right? But then you have our league, which is the USL, United Soccer League, and they have their own it must be second division, and then we're pre-professional. So yeah, the Sirens, Monterey Bay Sirens, they would be pre-professional.
So I know you're into the season now, and then obviously a lot of local interest in soccer. Talk about does the world are you mindful of the World Cup and all the soccer excitement that's going to be permeating California over the next couple of months?
Absolutely. So our merchandise manager went ahead and ordered some World Cup merch. So we actually are one of the few locations in Northern California who has this exclusive merch from Team USA and from Team Mexico. So that's exclusive merch to our area, right? That we can then sell to our fans.
But you need to go to the game.
Yes,
You gotta
please.
go to. Okay, all right.
Please come to the games.
Shameless time for shameless plugs now. Do your thing.
Well, this weekend we do have a match. Sunday at 4 p.m. It is Star Wars night, and it is our only day game that we're gonna be playing at home. So if you've been waiting for a day game, right? If you want to be out in Seaside in the sun, hopefully, fingers crossed, right?
There you go.
Then this is the game you're gonna want to be at. We're gonna have Darth Vader, we're gonna have Chewbacca, we're gonna have Yoda, we're gonna have a costume contest. There's so many things going on for the game this Sunday. That's May 3rd, and again, it starts at 4 p.m.
Okay. So let's kind of finish up with obviously you're very excited about what's going on today, and what's the future look like? Future plans, and it sounds like your fan base is growing, and I would assume everybody's looking forward to a bump because the World Cup has come to town, and the other thing I'm struck by, and you mentioned it, Alisal always been a powerhouse, but Alvarez just made it to the state finals. The Salinas High girls team also made it to the state finals. Does the soccer world in general, is it starting? I mean, it sounds like there was general awareness, but I mean, is this really going to? It's kind of like the SEC in football. A lot of great athletes come out of the southeast. Is Salinas going to get a reputation of, hey, if they're growing up in Salinas, that's a place to go look for talent?
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think that's again what the team brings, right? It's that opportunity really for our community members to shine, right? To show their talents, and that's really what we want is for our community members, our athletes, right, to come play for the team, right? Hopefully 2-3 years, and just do great, and so that way we can then help them, right? We're a stepping stone. We want to be a stepping stone for those community members who want to go ahead and move to first division soccer, whether it's in MLS, in Mexico, or even Europe, right? We want to be that bridge, right? We want to be that location where they can start. But you're absolutely right. I mean, Alisal, Alvarez, right? Salinas High, right? Now is the perfect opportunity for the community members to buy in and go all in on soccer, right? If that's really what you want to do, they have the right to dream, and now we have the platform. So utilize it, right? Utilize it. As far as plans for the future, I think it's going to remain, right, going out to community events, right, around the Tri-County area, try and be as involved as possible, right? We have a great connection with the Salinas Soccer Complex, right? The Salinas Regional Soccer Complex on Constitution. We have a great relationship with the schools, right? With a lot of the club teams around the area. We have great relationships with them. I can name them all, really, even with the leagues, right? And so it's going to be to continue to build those relationships, continue to give back to the community, and continue to offer the club up to whoever wants to be part of it, right? And at all different levels, volunteers, interns, community service hours, part-time, full-time, right? We're here to help the community, right? And so that mission is never going to change. And that's really what we're looking forward to, is expanding our staff so that way we can reach more people.
No, that sounds great. So before we finish up, did I miss anything?
Let's see. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you again for the opportunity to be here to speak about Monterey Bay FC. Nothing missed, but if I can add, we really, really appreciate, the community members, and we really just can't do it without them, right? We can't do it without them, and we want to be here for the long run, and we want to be here for you. And if you have any suggestions, right, on how to enhance the experience, or if you have any issues, right, please, or if you need any help or just anything in regards to the club, please do not hesitate to reach out. We're here for you all, and we want to be here for the community for the long run.
Well, people are sure excited that Monterey Bay FC is here and so involved in the community. As the mayor, that's exciting. Because that really adds to the whole quality of life, and really makes Salinas an attractive place to raise a family, to live. It makes it's really part of even being a calling card for economic development, business attraction. We want Salinas to be a destination, and this sure helps with that. So we're delighted to have you in the house, so to speak. So thanks for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
great
you,
to
Mayor
visit with
Donohue.
you.
Great. Thank you.